Today we will discuss the Civil War battle at Antietam. This battle began on September 16, 1862, when General George McClellan, commander of the Union Army of the Potomac, met General Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army of Northern Virginia in what is known as Sharpsburg, Maryland. General Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia consisted of 45,000 men. It was broken down into two corps, one ran by Major General James Longstreet and the other ran by Major General Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson. On the opposition was Major General George B. McClellan and his Army of the Potomac, which outnumbered the Confederacy 2-1 with about 87,000 men. It was broken down into six corps, the most notably being that of Major General Joseph Hooker, Major General Edwin V. Sumner, and Major General Ambrose E. Burnside. The battle began at dawn on September 17, 1862, when Major General Joseph Hooker began the assault on Lee's left flank. Attacks by Union and counterattacks by Confederacy went back and forth in what is known as the Fight for the Cornfield. The Union showed progress through the majority of this fight, but eventually Stonewall Jackson and his troops would hold them off. Meanwhile, on the other side of the battlefield, Union assaults began against the Confederate troops in the Sunken Road were underway for this key defensive position. The Sunken Road would later be named Bloody Lane because of all the bodies and blood that filled the road. The last fight of the day was for the bridge over Antietam Creek, where Major General Ambrose Burnside led the Union soldiers across to take the heavily outnumbered Confederate troops. This bridge would later be known as Burnside Bridge.
The Battle of Antietam is known as the bloodiest day in American history, where over 22,000 soldiers, 10,300 Confederates, and 12,400 Union soldiers were killed or wounded. Due to the heavy casualties on both sides, it is considered a military draw. But on the other hand, President Lincoln took it as a Union victory and shortly after announced the Emancipation Proclamation, which would free the slaves.
Although President Lincoln announced the Emancipation Proclamation shortly after the Battle of Antietam, it would not take effect until January 1, 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation was limited in many ways. It only freed the slaves from rebel states. That meant slaves in the Union states and Union-controlled territories were still under control. The only way this would be enacted is, of course, if the Union won the Civil War. That's where another part of the proclamation comes in that allows freed slaves to fight for the Union. By the end of the war, over 200,000 African Americans fought for the Union side to help free other slaves. This shows the effect that the political victory of this battle had on the eventual Union victory of the Civil War.